could be looking at that. Okay. All right. So oh, this thing is so wonderful. All right, so I'm going to pull up a PowerPoint to kind of review what we did the other day, and then okay. And then I'm going to have you do an activity today. Okay. My computer is frozen. There we go. All right, that's stuck. So we're instead of looking at that, we'll just it does what it wants to do. Technology is a wonderful thing. But anyway, we've been looking at things that have been cycled through the atmosphere, through our universe. And again, cycling is the key word there. We've talked about carbon and the different ways that carbon is cycled through the atmosphere. Last class, we talked about nitrogen and how nitrogen is cycled through our environment. And you were working on an essay that looked at um, how it is cycled and how, and I would like for this thing to stop circling, um, how it is, what happens if certain parts of the nitrogen didn't function? So those were the two questions you were addressing with the activity on the other day. I'm gonna give you a few minutes to, because a couple of you still haven't, um, okay, I'm gonna try to make this go to the slide. A couple of you have not turned that in, and a few of you have. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that before we do the next thing. And again, this is not acting right. No, it made the whole slide disappear. Okay, I'm going to forget about this for now and just look at where we are in Canvas. I'm going to go back to Canvas because my PowerPoint is acting, misbehaving. So and that's the discussion we're going to look at, but we're going to, I've embedded it in the module, so we'll get to that. All right, so we were in Canvas, and we were, last thing that you worked on was the nitrogen cycle. Everybody has a diagram that looks like this. This was also put into your assignment. So this picture was put into the assignment, and we looked at the fact that nitrogen exists in the atmosphere, but we cannot, even though it's part of the air that we breathe, we don't inhale it. And we do inhale it, but we exhale it back out because the body doesn't take it in that way. We have to consume it. So we went through all of the different ways that nitrogen is cycled through uh, the system. It is assimilated because you convert it to a form that we can eat, that we can consume, and that's how we get it in our bodies. It's important for us because it is part of the protein molecule that we need. It is part of the DNA molecule that we use. So nitrogen is important. Ammonification, this is something that the plants do, and one of the ways it is cycled back through the atmosphere. Um, and then we have nitrification. So another way that things that have died in the soil are recycled and the nitrogen is returned. And last, denitrification. All right, so the question that you had to answer was this one. And again, I embedded it in the module, so you should have access to it if you weren't here the other day. And I think everybody was. Everybody who's here now was. All right, so this is what you had as your assignment. You had the same picture and you had two questions that you were supposed to have answered. Okay. Um, so I'm going to let you look at that, but I'm going to also tell you what I need you to do for today. All right, so let me go. Mm. All right. In the module, I want you to go back to carbon. All right, so if you go back to the carbon cycle, and go to the end of that, you should find today's activity there. All right. So I need everybody to click on this link so that I can make sure that you can open it. So again, go back, you're in Canvas, and I'll stop for a minute just to make sure that you're there. So you're in Canvas, you located the unit that said the carbon cycle. And if you hit next on the carbon cycle, it should bring you to the activity that says carbon footprint. Okay, let me know if you can't get there. All right, then let me know if you cannot open this link. So when you click on this, it should take you to a link. Okay, it's an actual activity that you have to do. So let me know if anybody cannot get to this activity. I'm not seeing any no's. Is it that you're not there yet, or everything is good? Trying to get you on. Is everything good? Everybody can open it? Okay. All right. So once you're there, you're just going to click on take the first step. And then it's going to take you through a series of questions. And you have to be honest because it's going to give you a score when you're finished. And you're going to record that score. So let me come back to, all right. So these are the questions that so you first, you need to find out when you make your report, you have to write, what is it meant by carbon footprint? And then you're going to go through the activity and record your score. All right. Then you need to be able to explain what that score means. And it's going to give you a number and it's going to give you a bunch of earths. What does that mean? Okay. And then after you figure out what it means, um, you want to figure out, because most of you will probably get kind of a high score and you really want a low score. So go back and look at all of the answers that you gave that caused you to have that high score and figure out what is it that you would change in your lifestyle. This is about your lifestyle. What is it about your lifestyle that you would change in order to lower that score? Okay. All right. So again, so go through this. It's going to take you through. So this is a question. So there'll be questions, and you can slide this back and forth to answer the question. And then once you've answered the question, you can click, and it'll take you to the next question. So, and for example, I eat plant-based products very often. So then I can click the arrow over here and go to the next question. All right, so the arrow is going to always take you to the next question, and you slide the slider back and forth and decide what your answers will be. So your answers then at the end, it'll give you your score. All right, so I'm going to let you all work on those two things today. Some of you need to finish, yes, the last assignment with the nitrogen cycle, and then if you finish with that, you work on this. All right, we good? All right. I'm going to stop sharing so I can do attendance. Oh, good. Missing quite a few people. Okay, we've got quite a few people absent today. Absent or late. Which one is the score? Um, it should tell like the one that has how many planets. You can write both, but mostly you're looking at the one that says that goes with how you'll have a picture of so many planets and whatever three point so many planets, that's your score. All right, I'm gonna help you out a little bit with definition. The first part of your question asks you what is meant by the ecological footprint. So I have an answer here for you. So basically, this is what it's measuring. And the picture of the footprint is actually showing you all the activities, kind of what of the questions that they were asking you. And so based on your lifestyle, that makes up your footprint. So going back to analyze what it is you would do, you want to analyze all of those activities and look at exactly what it is you're doing in terms of recycling. How do you handle your waste? How much electricity do you use? How much fuel do you use? Do you drive as opposed to carpool? Um, wh- how can you change your activities to have less of a carbon footprint? Okay, so I'm going to leave this up as far as definition is concerned so that you understand what it is you're trying to balance. And then look at it in terms of your score. What does your score mean in terms of all of this? Okay, um, I'm gonna come back to this in a minute. Mm, I came out of mine, so I have to go back in. And I'm just going to quickly go through and give medium answers so I can get to the end to show you where. I live in a and, Now, renewable resources mean, do you know where your power plant is? Are they still burning fossil fuels? A lot of the power plants have converted to solar energy. A couple of them are using nuclear energy. Do you know anything about the power plant in your area? You might want to check on that. I do have much less than they do, and I recycle. So it's like a lot of people have two garbage cans. You have a can for your regular garbage and a recycling. How far do you travel? I don't travel anywhere because I work from home. And I don't have a motorcycle. So you would have only answered the car. You could answer this one question for if you were on a bus. So I don't do much. Okay, we leave that alone. It is efficient. It's not electric, but it is efficient. And it's efficient car, um, up to date. How far you travel on public transportation? I don't go on public transportation. Yeah, how many do you fly per year? Not much. Not doing that. Okay, so they gave me an answer. All righty. Um, we're not donating. All you want to know is this. So how many are so my answer says that according to my activities, I'm for 5 point. I require 5.4 Earths. All right, so then you want to see, click on details. So it kind of explains. So you want to analyze this map here. And it explains what's good, what's bad. As far as consumption and shelter is concerned, that's what my answers came down to. This is how many hectares of earth required to support me. How much carbon emissions are a result of my activity. And 49 is my score. So you might have a different score than that. So what you can do is you can screenshot this page if you want and add it to your report. Then it asks you to explain how you feel about your score. So basically that's what it's asking you. How do you feel about um, these areas of your life? Are you good, bad? Are you consuming too much food, taking up too much housing space, so on and so forth? Mm. That's how you can decide how you feel. It says you can explore your data in terms of what it looks like on the rest of the planet. Okay, compare your results to what everybody else in the United States is doing. Okay, so compared to many in the United States, Mine is way less. But why is that? So look, compare your results and then come up with solutions. Okay. So take it all the way through. Go all the way through the activity, and that will help you answer your questions. Deborah, did that help? Okay. And again, if you don't know how Columbus energy department gets their energy, that's something you might want to look up. We're probably going to need to know that for another activity later on. So where does, and I know here we have two or three choices of where we can get our energy from our energy supplier. So we have Georgia Power and Walton Electric and all that sort of thing. So figure out which one is yours. I know you all don't pay the bills, but figure out who supplies energy to your house and what kind of energy do they use? Are they coal burning, old-fashioned coal burning? Are they polluting the atmosphere? Or have they switched over to solar energy? A lot of places have. These days they're giving you extra credits on your tax bill if you have converted your house into a solar energy uh, house. So how is your house getting its energy, and what is the source of energy? And that has a lot to do with your carbon footprint. Things to think about. Okay, anybody else have any questions of this? I'm going to stop sharing so I can start looking at some of your answers. Okay, and actually, um, does anybody need the slide that had the definition for carbon footprint? Are you good with that? Okay. All right, so again, if you haven't done your nitrogen cycle, and a couple of you have not, make sure that you address that as well. All right, and remember today's question it asked you to include make sure you've covered all the points. What is the carbon footprint in your answer? Okay. Some of you have included your personal overshoot day, so you can do that as well. It's not that you shouldn't put it, but good. Mm. Who's here? Oh. All right, Friday treat. If you've submitted both assignments, you're free to go. You have a great weekend. Okay, you still owe both assignments? Stay with me. Okay, those of you who are still with me, let me know if there's any way I can help you answer these questions. Because looking at those of you who are with both, so let me know how I can help you.